Long ago, a proud and cruel young prince lived in a magnificent castle, caring for nothing but his own pleasure and vanity. One cold winter night, an old beggar woman appeared at the castle gates, shivering and seeking shelter from the bitter storm. She offered the prince a single red rose in return for warmth, but he laughed cruelly and turned her away into the cold night. Suddenly, the old woman transformed into a powerful enchantress, her eyes blazing with fury at his heartless cruelty. She placed a terrible curse upon the prince, twisting his body into that of a monstrous beast with fangs and sharp claws. The enchantress left behind an enchanted rose beneath a glass dome, its petals glowing softly with mysterious magical light. If the last petal fell before the beast found true love, he would remain a monster forever, cursed for all eternity. Alone in his dark castle, the beast watched the wilting rose in despair, each fallen petal bringing him closer to his doom. In a quiet village, Belle lived with her father, spending peaceful days reading books and dreaming of adventure. One stormy night, her father ventured into the dark forest, but many days passed, and he never returned home. Worried and afraid, Belle set out alone into the mysterious forest to search for her missing father. She wandered through twisted trees and thick fog, the path growing darker and more frightening with each step. Through the mist, Belle discovered a massive castle hidden deep in the forest, its iron gates standing open. With trembling hands, she pushed through the heavy gates and stepped cautiously into the shadowy courtyard. Belle entered through the grand doors, her footsteps echoing through vast, empty halls covered in dust and shadow. As she stepped inside, the massive doors slammed shut behind her with a thunderous boom, trapping her within. Belle explored the dark castle, searching desperately for any sign of her father in the shadowy corridors. In the deepest dungeon, she heard a faint voice calling and found her father trapped behind cold iron bars. Suddenly, a terrifying roar echoed through the halls as the beast emerged from darkness, his eyes glowing fiercely. Belle stood bravely before the monstrous creature, refusing to flee despite her trembling heart and shaking hands. She pleaded with the beast, offering to stay as his prisoner forever if he would release her innocent father. The beast studied her with cold, piercing eyes, surprised by her courage and the depth of her selfless love. After a long silence, the beast agreed to her bargain and unlocked the dungeon cell to set her father free. Belle watched her father leave through the castle gates, tears streaming down her face as she accepted her fate. Belle was led to a grand bedroom in the West Wing, its walls adorned with faded tapestries and golden frames. The heavy door closed behind her, leaving Belle alone in the vast chamber filled with cold silence and shadows. She sat on the edge of the enormous bed, wrapping her arms around herself as tears began to fall quietly. Belle walked slowly to the tall window, gazing out at the dark forest that surrounded the lonely castle. The moonlight cast pale shadows across her face as memories of her father and village filled her aching heart. She pressed her hand against the cold glass, longing for the warmth of home she might never see again. Outside her window, dead roses swayed in the night wind, mirroring the sorrow growing inside her lonely heart. Belle curled up by the window, watching the stars through her tears, feeling more alone than ever before. The next morning, the beast appeared at Belle's door, his gruff voice awkwardly inviting her to join him for dinner. Belle turned away coldly, refusing to speak or even look at the creature who held her prisoner in his castle. The beast's shoulders slumped with disappointment as he slowly walked away down the long, empty corridor alone.